Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Gift and you're welcome to Gift and Couture. So in today's story I want to show you how I was able to achieve this beautiful top that you're seeing. So if this is your first time of coming across my channel, please do well to subscribe, like, share, comment, and we are going to be using slash and spread method for the front part. All right, so and you'll be needing like 2 yards, 1.5 to 2 yards of fabric to sew this. 1.5 is actually what I use to sew my own. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to fold your pattern into two, because I'll be cutting both the front and the back on this very pattern. So fold yours into two. All right, so when you're done, go ahead and mark 1 inch. Normally you'll hear your top line, but for this tutorial I'll be using 2 inches, so don't worry about marking the 1 inch, just mark 2 inches. All right, so when you are done, go ahead and connect the line just like the way I'm. So the next thing is to go ahead, place your tape rule on that line and mark 1.5. so that 1.5 is actually for your shoulder measurement. So when you are done, go ahead and connect the lines just like this. So the next measurement is to measure your bust point, your half length, and your top length. So for me, I'll be using like from my half length to my hip length, which is 8 inches. That's actually what I'm going to be using. So if you don't want the top to be long, you can reduce it from there. So from there I went ahead to connect the lines. So after that I went ahead to label it, the shoulder, the bust points, the half length, and then the hip length. Like I said, you can reduce the length of the top if you don't want it to be that long. Like from your half length you can reduce it. So instead of using 8, you can use 5 inches or 6, depending on how you want it. So the next measurement is to get the length of our armhole. To get your armhole length, you're going to divide your bust by 6 and add 1.5 to it. Whatever you have, add 1.5 to it. That's what you're going to be using to contour your armhole. So after that, that's what I got, and the line I just drew there is called the across chest. So I'll go ahead and label it AC, which is the across chest. So from the next thing is to go ahead, divide your shoulder measurement into 2 and then mark it. For me, mine is 14. I'll mark 7 inches there. So to get the neckline, because of how this style is, I'll be using 2.5 inches to get the neck width, and then go ahead and connect it. Okay, on that across chest, mark your across chest measurement. If you don't know how to get your across chest, just minus half inches from your shoulder measurement and then mark it. So go ahead and mark your bust measurement and on that across chest. So the distance from that across chest to your bust measurement to your across chest, divide it into 4. Place your tape rule from your shoulder down to your across chest, divide it into 2. Whatever you have, mark on that middle. So on that midpoint, go in by 0.5 and connect it just like the way you are seeing. So now that you're done, go ahead on your bust point, divide your bust into 4. So from there, go on your half length, divide your waist measurement into 4. Whatever you have, mark it on that half length measurement, and then go to your hip line measurement and divide your hip into 4. Whatever you have, mark it there, and when you are done, go ahead and connect the lines straight. Okay, so when you are done, normally we are supposed to share this dart, but for this tutorial I don't need that, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. So in case you want to sew that, but it's not really necessary for this style, all right, just go ahead and connect it. Do not use your bust band. That's what I wanted to do initially, but when I thought about it, I decided to connect the dart just like this. So go ahead and do the same thing as well. So when you're done, as you can see, the bodice is ready. Go down to your hip line. I want it to have that U curve, all right, so I'll go up by 2 inches and then go ahead and connect it just like this. So when you are done doing that, we are done just like this. The next thing is to go up based on the style. Like I said, you're going to go up by 1.2 inches or 1 inch. All right, just go up like that and then connect it. Just watch what I'm going to do. Extend it like that and then go ahead and connect your shoulder measurement. So when you mark that 1.2, go out by 1 inch as well and then connect it to get the shape of the neck, because that's what I did. Go ahead and do the same thing. It's not compulsory use 2.5 for the neck width. You can use 3 inches. All right, Thing you're going to do is to go ahead and add half an inch for your shoulder joining, and then go ahead and add 1 inch or 1.5 depending on how you want it. And please make sure you had half inch for ease, alright? Because the reason I actually used the exact measurement was because the fabric I used was kind of stretchy. So for this tutorial, like I said, I'm using this pattern for both front and the back. Alright, so this is the back. The first measurement I added was the front, and this one I'm adding the back. So to get the back measurement, you are going to divide the shoulder measurement into two. Okay, so when you divide the shoulder into measurement into two, go ahead and mark it on this same pattern. All right, so on the across chest, remember we also have across back, and the measurement for the across back, the distance from that to where the measurement is you divide it into two, but for the front is divided into four. All right, so go ahead and do the same thing as well. Divide that measurement into two and then connect it. I actually did this in order to avoid wasting of pattern paper and fabric. All right, so what we are going to do, we are going to go ahead and label it the back and the front. That's B for the back and F for the front. So when you are done, go ahead and cut it out just like this. And when you are done cutting, it should look like this. So next thing is to go ahead and open your pattern paper down like this, you can see. So next thing is to go ahead and replicate this on my fabric exactly like this. And what I'm cutting now is the back. Like I said, I'm going to cut the back face before cutting the front. All right, so I'm gonna to cut it out. Go ahead and do the same thing as well. So when you are done, go ahead and open it. It should look like exactly just like this. All right, so when you are done, you can see the middle point there. So next thing is to go ahead and open it, and look at how I cut the pattern as well. Be conscious of how your own fabric is. So next thing, we are going to go ahead and cut out the inches that we had for the back on that armhole side. All right, we are going to go ahead and cut it out. Like I said, the reason I did this was to avoid wasting of fabric. So I'll go ahead and reduce this by half an inch. So after cutting it out, the next thing I did was to go and label the pattern, the front. So now let's go ahead and put the pattern on the back. We are not going to cut it yet. So based on how the style looks, we are going to go ahead and come down by 3 inches on the armhole side. You're going to mark 3 inches and then connect it slantly. And then you're going to go to the middle point of it. So let's go to the middle. On that middle, you are going to mark it, and then from there you're going to mark like 2 inches. Remember, the style is really high and the neck is not wide already, so you're going to go ahead and connect it to where you mark the 2 inches, just like this. So when you are done connecting just like this, you are done cutting the front, you are going to go ahead and cut it. Now the distance from the shoulder, the neckline, to where that 2 inches is just like 1.5. so next thing is to go ahead and cut it. There is a distance between where the shoulder starts from, so I'm going to assume like 2 inches from there. So I'll go ahead and mark that 2 inches. Go ahead and do the same thing as well. Now from there to where the armhole is, I'm going to go ahead and mark like 1.2 inch out of it, so that it won't affect the armhole. So now the next thing is to go ahead and extend the length of how I want the slash and spread to be. Now based on the style, the slash and spread, I assume it to be on the across chest. So I'll go ahead and extend the lines just like this. So go ahead and do the same thing as well. Now when you are done drawing these lines, we are going to go ahead and cut facing. If you are using lining, you can go ahead and cut your lining, but on this tutorial we don't really need that. So I'll go ahead and cut this facing. This will help determine how the slash and spread will look like, and I'll be able to control it. So go ahead and do the same thing as well. Now what I mean is that you are cutting the facing and the armhole together. All right, so now you're going to mark. What I'm doing here is that you're going to notch where we mark the armhole, like where the slash and spread stops, and on the neckline, the 2 inch that I marked to, that's where you're going to notch. So do the same thing on your own fabric as well. Okay, So go ahead and notch where we mark the 2 inches. With this, you'll be able to determine where and where the slash and spread stops, okay? Because the moment you slash at this, you'll be able to control the fullness, but after cutting this, you'll be able to know where it stops. All right, the next thing is to use your paper scissors. Remember, there is paper scissors and there is fabric scissors. Go ahead and use your paper scissors, all right, to slash the pattern. So slash it to where like the across chest, because that's where I assume it to be. And if you want your own to be a bit longer than this, you can extend the length to your bust line. All right, so let's go ahead and cut it out. So on the armhole side, you're going to extend the length. Now we are going to go ahead and slash it because we can't spread this paper like this. All right, we are going to go ahead and slash the pattern from the armhole side to where you stop. So you can see, do not cut it out. All right, please avoid this, even though I mistakenly cut my own out, but make sure you avoid this. So the next thing is to go ahead and label this pattern, because this will help you know how it's been arranged. Please do not cut out these pieces out without labeling it. All right, so now that you are done cutting it out, all right, you're going to go ahead and cut this side, this other side out. Anyways, continue watching, you'll see what I mean. Okay, please, I'm begging you, make sure you label those pieces. The next thing is to go ahead, pick your pattern scissors and then go ahead and slash this side out. So we are going to go ahead and open this out. Sorry, I wasn't planning to cut that thing out. All right, so avoid that on your own pattern paper. So you go ahead and spread this on your fabric like this. Make sure you arrange your pattern paper very well, and remember, the wider you open this, the more fuller your what's it called, your plate would be, or if you're using gathers, the more fuller your gathers would look like. That's one thing about slash and spread. So we are going to be controlling it. Now this is where the pieces comes in. All right, so you're going to arrange it like this. Make sure you arrange it accordingly. Arrange it according to how you cut it, and that's the reason I mentioned earlier that you should label your pattern paper. All right, so you are going to go ahead and arrange it just like this. Make sure you align the armhole together, both this side and the other side, and go ahead and label it. When you are placing these pieces on the fabric, just make sure you pin it down, okay, because that's what I did and that's what I expect you to do. So when you are done arranging this, remember, the more you spread this, all right, the wider the plate, so you can control this. Everything is in your hand, but make sure you arrange it and make sure the what's it called, the shoulder lines, all right, align. Let it be equal. You can see from this video, you can see how I place this pattern on the lower part and make sure it's aligned with this armhole side. Do not place it in the way that the armhole will now be longer. Now the distance from where I spread this to other side, the distance I think is 10.5 inches. So now if you want your own to be a little wider, you can spread, you can use like 12 inches. All right, so now that I'm done spreading this, okay, the next thing is to go ahead and cut it out. When you are cutting it, make sure you pin it, please, before you cut it. All right, take your time and cut it. This thing has a technique for it, so go ahead and cut it out like this. So when you're done cutting it out, let's see how it's going to look like. So aside from the plates, we are not joining anything, so do not add any seam allowance to it. All right, go ahead and cut the exact thing. Even on that shoulder side, do not add anything to it. So the next thing I did was to go ahead and notch where the slash and spread stop from this side, and also notch it on the other side. So go ahead and do the same thing as well. This will help you know the distance on how to plait your fabric. All right, so in some cases you can decide to indicate the piece, like the slash and spread, how you want the plate to be, but in my own, I didn't want that stress. So look at it now. I've gone ahead to place the facing, all right, of this on the fabric. Okay, you're going to go ahead and do the same thing. Like I said, remember where we notch, you're going to place it. This is the reason I said you should cut your facing already. You're going to place the facing like this, and then go ahead and pleat your fabric on it. You can see the pleat is already there. All right, please take your time. If you really like this style, take your time and do it. Go ahead and pleat it, and just know that you're going to stop where you nod. So when you are done pleating it, if you don't get it, if this is your first time of doing something like this, take your time. All right, and be patient. So go ahead and pleat it. You can see how the pleat is already forming. Oh my god. So go ahead and pin it. And if you've watched my video to this point and you're yet to subscribe, please do well to subscribe, like, share, comment. This is the only way you can help and support me. All right, thank you. So let's go ahead and do it. You can see after I was done pleating, you can see the facing is the same thing. It's aligned with the facing, and I want you to do the same thing. So after I was done, I went ahead to cut paper stay on it and gum it. Go ahead and do the same thing as well. Next thing is to go ahead and sew it. Now for the back, I've gone ahead to cut facing as well, and I've also gone ahead to cut armhole for that. So yeah, I've gone ahead to sew it. Go ahead and do the same thing as well, and I've gone ahead to iron it. Now look at the facing that I cut for the armhole of that back, and next thing is to go ahead and sew it. Go ahead and do the same thing as well. When you are done, go ahead and iron it. Please make sure you top stitch your facing. All right, the next thing is to go ahead and join the shoulder. Now I've gone ahead to sew the facing for the plates on the front. So you are going to go ahead and do the same thing. Now for the facing of the back, you are going to use it to turn the front one. So look at what I did there. You can as well use your pin. I just wanted to show you what I did, and this is it. Okay, go ahead and sew 1/2 inch for the armhole side. You are going to go ahead and turn it. Now remember, you are using the front, like the back facing, both that, and this is what I got. So go ahead and do the same thing as well. You can see the plates there, and you can see the armhole. Next thing is to go ahead and join the side. Now based on the fact that we use facing, you're going to sew facing to facing and the fabric to itself. So remember, we added 1 inch. So after I was done, I put it on. This was how it looked. I was already loving it, and it was great. So let's go ahead and continue. So next thing you are going to do is to go ahead and fold the lower part. So actually use like 0.7 inch to fold it down, and you can see how neat it is. I'm gonna ahead to iron this. So let's go ahead and cut the sleeves. Remember, when we are cutting the pattern from that side, that it's going to be like off shoulder, we minus like 3 inches. All right, now let's go ahead and fold our fabric into 2 like this, and then minus that 3 inches. This will help you determine the length of your sleeves. All right, now so go ahead. I've already gone ahead to fold it out, cut my sleeves out. All right, minus that 3 inches away, and then with this I use 22 for what I'm going to be using for the gathers, and then the width of this is 12.5. remember, it has like band. Okay, so and I use like 4 inches for that band. I'm still going to show you. All right, so let's go ahead and measure that armhole from where I cut it out to where the sewing stops. You are going to mark it, and I got 5.5. so next thing is to go ahead and fold this in. So what you are folding in is what you are going to use for the elastic. Look, just fold like 0.7 or 1 inch in, and then go ahead and connect your armhole like this. And remember, we have 0.5. You are going to minus like 1/2 inch or 1 inch away, and then go ahead and measure what you have. So when you are done, go ahead and cut it out, but make sure you get your actual armhole measurement. So now that we are done, we are going to go ahead and sew that side. Like I said, I made a mistake. I cut 2 sleeves instead of 1. Please be conscious of this. Just cut 1 because you are only using 1 sleeve in order to avoid wasting of fabric. Go ahead and cross check your measurement, and it was perfect. Okay, next look at the band here. I've gone ahead to measure my wrist. So my wrist is like 7.5. I didn't cut that exact 7.5. I just wanted it to be free when I'm wearing it. And the upper part where I'm going to attach to that sleeves, so I cut 8 inches. You can go ahead and measure your own and then sew it. Even this band, funny enough, I cut 2 as well. I just wasted that fabric. I'm still going to use it though. So now that you are done, you're going to cut it, open it like that and sew. Whether you had 1 inch to it or 0.5, go ahead and do the same thing. And for the sleeves, go ahead and sew it and put your elastic. Here I've gone ahead to do the same thing. The lower part, I've gone ahead to draw the gathers. Now that you're done, you're going to, you can see I've gone ahead to sew the band and I've ironed it as well. Go ahead and fold it in and this is what you get. Next thing is to go ahead and brace it together and then fix your sleeve. All right, so there's a way I turn the armhole, which I would love to show you. Okay, now after, when you're done, when you're joining the sleeve, you're going to use the facing like this and turn it. All right, so with this you'll be able to get a neat finishing. You can see how the joining is, and that was it. So next thing I did, I went ahead to take pictures, you know. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe before you go. Bye.